I mean, anybody can get one corner of the cob up there, but three, that's got to be some kind of record. Oh, hey, welcome once again to another exciting episode of Video Store Clerks, the Video Store Clerks Podcast. We are former video store employees that are trapped inside of a video store because we get no customers anymore. We haven't had a paycheck in 30 years, so we had nothing else better to do besides to do this podcast and share our thoughts with you, the viewers, the listeners, and all the rest of the world. So we welcome you once again. And tonight, ladies and germs, we will be talking about the multi-talented Ice Cube. That's right, it's Ice Cube night. The former rapper, former director, actor. He's done it all. He's done it all over his, born in 1569. 69? Anybody?
1569?
69?
Like, God damn.
Oh, is that what that sounded like? I said that too fast, so it came out wrong. But that is
He looks
tonight.
good for his age.
He does. He looks fantastic for his age. So without any further ado, let us get this party started, shall we? Warning. The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussions. You have been warned.
Welcome to the store.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Welcome once again, everybody, to the Video Store Clerks Podcast. I'm Dave.
Chad, man.
I'm Mike.
And we are your clerks for this evening. And my goodness, we have a fun one tonight. Once again, we will be talking about Ice Cube. We will be discussing and ranking our top 3 favorite Ice Cube movies that you can find in the store anytime. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Well, first off, I got to say, welcome back, Dave.
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute, huh? I almost forgot how to do all this. But I'm alive. I was going to say and well, but
Did you find the robot from Space Camp?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. We'll talk about it after the show. But as usual, we will start our broadcast as we normally do with the news. It still stinks. Well, the big news, Raquel Welch has passed away at the age of 82 from a short illness. If you don't know, Miss Raquel Welch was a beautiful movie star and a sexual symbol back in the 60s. Oh, boy. In unnecessary sequel news, I Am Legend 2, the upcoming sequel starring Will Smith, and the producers and writers have come out and said that they plan on ripping off HBO's The Last of Us when it comes to this movie. So that'll be fun. Also, Ant-Man Quantumania will be upcoming this
Tomorrow.
weekend, I believe.
Yeah,
I believe this weekend it comes out. They had some previous screenings which were all overwhelmingly positive. Let's not ignore the fact that Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors, and the entire cast were at said screening. So you can't really go by that all the time. But more and more screenings have come to pass. More and more people have gone to see this movie. And consequently, more and more of the reviews have become mixed. I have a feeling this is going to be another bait and switch. I think Cassie's going to become the center of attention. And the Paul Rudd character will turn out to be an asshole, as Marvel has usually done with their movies and TV shows the last couple years. But the two consensus among everybody is that Jonathan Major is great as Kang the Conqueror, and to stay tuned for the 2 post-credit scenes. There's a mid and a post-credit scene that they said you cannot miss, and I don't know if I really want to pay to stay, basically to watch the end credits. But there's that. And more unnecessary fucking this is more unnecessary. What is it? How a network or studio just cannot leave shit alone. Dexter. Dexter is coming back as a prequel. If you are familiar with the series, a prequel series is probably the most unnecessary thing imaginable, since we have several flashbacks in each and every episode of the 8, 9, 10 seasons that it has ran, counting the most recent one. So why would you do that? I don't know, but they are.
And it's not a prequel for Dexter; it's a prequel for a Trinity Killer.
But yes, I did see that Mr. John Lithgow, is he coming back? If it's a prequel, probably not.
I
But
mean, maybe.
maybe. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I still think it's unnecessary. I think it should, because Mike had brought up the point. We had an interesting discussion about this, that the show should have ended at season 4.
That's what
Or
that's what I
five.
always say.
4 or
That's
5.
what no 4.
Well, I mean, just because they should have been 5's kind of garbage, so let's just not do this. But I mean, yeah, 4 would have been ideal.
Whenever I meet somebody who's never met or watched Dexter, I always say watch until the end of season 4 and then stop,
Me too.
because you will regret watching the rest.
Mhm.
For real, it's one of those things where, without giving away anything, they took the series, and Showtime wanted to capitalize on its popularity, and they just made season after season. They stretched it out and made everything so terrible. So up until the end of season 4, you're good. After that, you bail out.
This is true. I would agree with that.
100%.
And that's good enough. Nobody cares about that. That's good enough for the news for this evening. Let's get to the cube.
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
What about the fucking news that just happened at the Super Bowl? The fucking trailer.
The Flash.
Are we talking about the Flash?
We are talking about the Flash real quick.
Okay, great.
All right, so
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
I thought you were going to lead in. Fucking the trailer for the Flash dropped during the Super Bowl, and of course we get to see what's going to happen with the Flash and everything. But we got the reveal of Michael Keaton's Batman returning. I'm pumped.
And what sucks about this movie is that one asshole is almost ruined the whole thing. And all these thousands and thousands of people and everyone that's seen that movie swears that it's good. Granted, they all work for DC, but still, I think the trailer looked amazing, but it sucks that this one fucking asshole is putting the whole thing in jeopardy. And I didn't know Zod was going to be in it at all.
Yeah.
I don't think he was in the Flashpoint series. What would be really awesome is if they brought Jeffrey Dean Morgan in to play Thomas Wayne. That would be great.
Yeah. It's going to get interesting. Normally that shit has been, from the past stuff, the Man of Steel stuff and everything, just not delivering like Marvel does. So we'll see. This is probably the first time I've been excited. It's a nostalgia factor, with Keaton and everything, but they're expanding. Gunn's getting to take over, and it's going to be a whole new universe type thing. So they're hitting the reset button. I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah,
and Ben's in it too, because Ben is he's second to Keaton in my opinion as the best Batman.
Yeah.
There's rumors. People, don't make us the fucking. We're the messengers. Christian Bale is probably not going to be in this movie, so stop it. I really doubt Christian's going to be in it, but still, Supergirl, I'm not too sure about. But
yeah, I was kind of shocked whenever I saw them introduce Kara.
Yeah,
but the CG with her flying looked fucking awful. It didn't look that great. I was just not impressed.
But none of that matters
to me. It looked cartoony.
Fucking Michael Keaton, man.
Yeah, I mean that's just going to make the movie there. That's pretty much why anyone in our age group is going to go see this movie.
Yeah, for sure. That
Younger. Oh man,
and
seeing the Batwing and everything again,
and the
man.
Batmobile. That's still my favorite
Yeah.
Batmobile of all time. Was Keaton's Batmobile. To see it there, oh man, oh Ezra Miller, fuck whatever.
Take all our money.
Take it. Just take my money. So yeah, we'll see. June 16th, I think it comes out. June something. So yeah, we'll see.
We will.
We'll see. That was good. I'm glad you brought that up. I think the only reason I didn't because I'll probably go on a tangent for like a good 20 minutes.
That's cool.
Because
we got plenty of time.
Yeah,
because conspicuous by his absence tonight is the illustrious, notorious Chuck Nasty. Had to take the night off. It's cool.
But we're thinking about you, Chuck. And Chuck did provide his top 3, so we will certainly pass that along to our gentle viewers.
For sure.
Is he playing with the robot from Space Camp?
Is that what it is?
Oh, it might be.
You shipped it to him, and now he's chilling with the robot.
I sent him some pictures. Some dirty pictures.
All right, well, Chuck, we'll see you next week, brother.
Yeah, man.
But nonetheless, let's get into it with the Cube. Born O'Shea Jackson Sr. on June 15th, 1969. He's formed several rap groups, including CIA and the pioneering gangster rap group NWA, which even if you don't listen to this music, you have undoubtedly probably heard of. But he started his acting career in 1991, which brings me to my third pick, Boys in the Hood. This was one of those movies when I was a kid. It was one of those bad movies that we weren't allowed to watch, like Stallone's Cobra or something like that. It was one of those bad movies you weren't allowed to watch. The bad kid in the neighborhood had to rent it, and we had to go down there and watch it. And as a white boy from middle-class neighborhood, this was a whole new world for me. Directed by John Singleton, again in 1991, in which he played the role of Doughboy, which was a small role, but a very important role that I think, for your first go, he started high, for sure, in my opinion. But it's, I think the only reason it was my third is because it's so dramatic and kind of a bummer of a movie, actually.
That's Singleton's vision, where he was trying to show what he knew from growing up, and just basically the reality of what it was out on the West Coast and in the hood for a lot of people. And it was one of the first times that it was being brought to the big screen where people could actually see and be like, this is like a realistic portrayal of what's going on. There's no bullshit. It's just the straight up facts.
Yeah, very real. And there weren't that many movies like that back then.
No.
There really weren't. And this was also around the time that the LA riots and all those things were, starting to come to light. Because us out here on the East Coast, like I said, white boy growing up in a middle class neighborhood on the East Coast, we didn't know all this stuff was going on.
And Singleton said he specifically wrote the Part 4 Cube because he had met Cube as the intern whenever he was working on our Arsenio Hall show. So he wrote the Part 4 with Cube in mind completely, and he was the first one to sign up for it.
And like I said, I think he nailed it. It's just there's not that many actors out there, or especially those that switch from one form of media to another, that is just such a natural. Like he had that presence on screen right away.
Well, it helps with this film as well, because we've talked about this in the past where, Nicholson and other actors implement parts of themselves into their characters. And with Cube, it came natural because that was, sort of like how Cube was. If you knew anything from NWA, you knew the type of person he was and the upbringing he had and everything like that. So the Doughboy character probably isn't too far from what Ice Cube was like in real life.
Mm-hmm. And even still, I don't think it makes it a whole lot easier when you're out. You got the camera crews, you got it's a different environment, but it's unbelievable performance, especially for your first go at it. So,
and that was shortly after his first solo album came out too.
Mm-hmm.
Because he left NWA in what, 89?
89, and then he was doing his solo shit, and then he got mixed up in Hollywood.
Right.
He was the one that really took off. This film ended up debuting not too long after Eazy-E passed away. So it was like, out of the group, Cube was the one that really, I mean, when you think of NWA and everything like that, of course you think of Eazy-E, but since he passed, Dre and Cube were the ones that really stood out. And
Right.
Dre, has always been about music, and then his career in hip hop has been legendary. So he's done some film as well, but not at the level that Cube did. And it was really this breakout role that kind of set it off for him. No pun intended.
Yeah, I mean, since then, since 1991, he's acted in nearly 40 films, starring alongside the likes of Bill Paxton, Janet Jackson, Tupac, Chris Tucker, George Clooney, Charlie Day, and many
Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin Hart, of course. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
So there you go, Boys in the Hood.
Well, that had to be on your list too, Chad, right?
Actually, no, I went a different route.
Oh, switching it up on us. Well, then I'll go ahead and say that was my number 2 because, it's such a fucking good film. And Singleton, fucking brilliant. And the performances, Cuba Gooding Jr., Cube, so many great actors that were young at the time. And this really, like I said, it brought to light a lot of issues that were going on in the world that a lot of white America didn't know about. And it was so pivotal for the Black community and for just Black people in film, to be shown at this level. You got Lawrence Fishburne, you got Angela Bassett, you got there's a bunch I'm not thinking of, but I mean it's a great cast, and like I said, it was his breakout role. So you can't. I feel like Chad obviously didn't put it in his top 3, but you can't mention Ice Cube's film career without acknowledging Boys in the Hood.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There was 2 movies that I wanted to put on my list that I didn't, and that was one of them. And it was kind of tough because when I'm going back and watching a lot of Cube's movies, that was the first movie I put on.
Right.
And I watched it, I think 2 or 3 times.
And it is an important film because, like we both mentioned, that it was a way to kind of remedy our ignorance to what was going on, what is going on in the world.
For sure. And like I've always said, hip hop changed my life. Cube and NWA and just so many different artists of that time brought a whole new perspective to me because it was like, you didn't see a whole lot of this stuff on TV. It's like, if you're a white person in the middle of nowhere, you don't know what's going on out in New York. You don't know what's going on in LA, all these places, these suburban environments, and you don't know what these people are going through. So to hear their stories through both music and film, it was so important to me. And hip hop, changed my life. And I'll love that genre forever. A lot of people, it's different nowadays. It's not like it used to be, where
storytelling back in the day. Now it's just nonsense.
Yeah. It was, and a lot of people gave it shit because the adults back then when we were growing up, they're like, they hear the profanity, they hear the gangster stuff and everything like that, and they go, that's bad, but. Like we said, with Natural Born Killers, we were talking about last week, you got to look past the surface to see what's really going on. It's not like these guys are just talking about, oh yeah, I love to kill people. These people are killing because they have to. It's it's survival. This is their lives. We don't understand how it is to live in fear all the time. to be laying in your bed at night and not knowing if a bullet's going to come through the window or through the wall, kill you, kill your friend. You don't know if your friends or your family might be dead or alive tomorrow. Right. And it's something that a lot of people are still ignorant about. And, I always try to tell people, give it a chance. Don't, hip hop's a lot different. Like I said, nowadays, they turned it into a more flashy type thing or whatever. But, you go back and listen to that genre of music from that time, and you're going to hear a lot of great stories about, people overcoming the worst situations. And it's going to give you a new perspective on a culture and a society in general. So, yeah.
I'm going the different route.
Mm-hmm. All right.
There's multiple movies that I come up with in my head whenever I think of Ice Cube. But one that I really liked was Barbershop. It shows a different aspect too of the hood,
Mm-hmm.
how people can live in unity and to take care of their community and then just keep all the family-owned businesses together. Ice Cube's running his dad's barbershop whenever he handed it down to him, which was actually his grandfather's before that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a family-run business that's been around since I think it was 1959. And then he's just trying to move on with times and do things the way everybody else is trying to make kind of quick cash, get rich schemes, like stuff like that. So he's trying to do a recording studio, but then his wife kind of puts him in check halfway through. And then he sees how important the barbershop is with all the other people that work there and the community. And then he decides not to get rid of it because he ends up selling it to Keith David. And then he decides to back out of the deal once he sees how much love everybody has for his barbershop, just to come in and bullshit every day. He has the same 4 old guys hanging out every day playing checkers and shit. It's just a nice, good, wholesome movie, and just kind of shows you the value of things that you have that you take for granted.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's at the heart of it.
Yeah. But I always loved that movie, and I remember when I lived in Pittsburgh, me and Angel watched that shit all the time. Cedric the Entertainer, fucking great in that movie.
Yep.
He's great in everything, but just he kills the role of being the old man. It's just such a fucking good movie.
Yep.
And it goes to show you they had fun too.
Right.
It wasn't all bad. They had fun, and at the heart of it was, it's family.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll find that in a lot of his movies. I think that's
there's always a hidden message
mm-hmm.
in pretty much every movie he does. Aside from his comedy type stuff, but even then, there's still a little sliver of some real shit in there
mm-hmm.
that makes you respect what you got.
But that's how it was. It's another thing. It's another something that a lot of white people don't understand is the barbershop was like a meeting ground. It
mm-hmm.
was a place for camaraderie for these folks because it was limited. When you're in a community that there's a lot of poverty and a lot of stuff like that you try to get together and try to you are a community. And there is a lot of negative things that go on in that community, but there is a lot of positive things as well. And, I think Cube at this point, it was probably 2002 when this came out, somewhere in there?
Somewhere in there.
0102, something like that.
Yeah, it was, just showing a different side of the community that, a lot of people probably didn't see and probably didn't understand, how it went and everything. And, it's another one. I was kind of on the fence. I think this for me it was kind of a number 3 because, like you said, whenever I think about Cube and I think about his films, this is definitely one of the ones that stands out. It was one of the ones that people, when they go back and look, they're like, oh yeah, I remember Barbershop and everything. And of course, it was so popular. There was sequels, there's spin-offs with Beauty Shop and everything like that.
Yeah, but Queen Latifah.
So, yeah,
but she's in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the barber shop next door, and she does like the women's hair.
Yeah. So definitely a good franchise. Maybe people aren't big into it or whatever, but it was one of those things where it had a good message, and it was there was comedy and everything like that, and then it was like I said, it was just a different perspective,
Right.
and it was a fun film.
It really is. And even the second one, like it goes even deeper whenever because in the first one, him and his wife are pregnant with the kid, and then the second one, like you actually see the kid. So then he's trying to keep everything intact, so that way the kid can take over the barbershop.
Right. So
It's just a good, fun, wholesome movie.
For sure. But yep, that was my number 3 as well. I mean, I don't know. We can go in a different direction. I don't know. We could talk about. Number 3 could have also been Three Kings for me, I think.
Yeah, I almost went with that too.
Yeah, or I think. Oh wait, here, let me pull this up. What was Chuck's number 3? Now that we're
Trespass.
Trespass. That was the other one I was thinking about as well.
Me too. But see, I remember seeing that, but I haven't seen it in forever, so I really didn't know a whole lot about it except for like the main story.
Mm-hmm.
But I really wish I could go back. Like I need to find it because. Like I looked at like the casting chart and everything, and I was like, "There's a lot of motherfuckers in this movie."
Oh yeah, Ice-T, Bill Paxton. Oh man, it's a good flick from the early '90s, man.
Yeah.
So,
I guess it's one of them like first kind of like gang territory type movies you'll see too.
Yeah, I think this was like his second film. I think pretty much.
I think so.
So they were definitely trying to get him. Into that major league, after Boys in the Hood,
And it was Ice-T and Ice Cube together.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Right.
The two Ices.
That's some cold shit.
Yeah. William Sadler, yeah.
And written by Bob Gale and Zemeckis, man. That's interesting.
Right.
Pairing for writing this type of film.
Yeah, like what a perfect movie, to be involved in because you're surrounded by all these people, all these different talents. Like, I'm sure he was asking them questions, and I'm sure they were giving advice and all those things. Like, what a perfect movie to be in for your second film, to be surrounded by all that talent.
Right. So definitely a good one. Another one of those ones because, like we said, Cube does a lot of comedy, and his more dramatic roles, his more serious roles are few and far between. So this is definitely one of them as well. So I could see why Chuck made it his number 3.
Well, Chuck's number 2 as well was Boys in the Hood.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we're not too far off.
Mm-hmm.
We're on the same wavelength,
right,
as usual. Dave, what was your number 2? Or do you have more?
What was your number 3?
My number 3 was Barbershop.
Barbershop.
Oh, okay. All right, Barbershop. So okay, I went with the comedy route for my number 2. I went with Fist Fight.
Oh,
my number 2 as well.
That's a good one.
I think Ice Cube and Charlie Day were a pretty decent duo. I would have kind of liked to see them in more. Maybe they will in the future. It's a fairly 2017, I believe it came out.
Yeah, not too long ago.
And of course, Charlie's been busy with It's Always Sunny too. So, but hey, maybe someday they'll get together again. And he does make good comedy duos when he does, like with Charlie, like with Kevin Hart, even the 21 Jump Street movies, which they got a lot of hate, but I thought they were both funny. And
they are funny in the cheesy, goofy way.
Yeah.
It was so over the top.
Cube's part's fucking great.
You can't not laugh, whenever what's his face is ribbing him about Jonah Hill fucking his daughter and all this shit. Like, oh,
it's funny.
He fucked the captain's daughter. But yeah.
And I like how he plays it straight. Well, they're just a couple of goofballs. I don't know. I thought they were good.
He even says in the first one too. He's like, "I know you're thinking, stereotypical angry black captain."
But yeah, fist fight and the scene. I think though my favorite scene was with Dean Norris and the mariachi band. I was like, how much would it cost to do that to somebody? Because that would be great.
Oh man, it's such a funny film too.
It is my number 2 as well. Like that movie's so fucking funny. Like I couldn't find it nowhere, and then I ended up buying it on Amazon Prime just because I was like, I can't believe I don't fucking have this movie. Whenever it shit came out, like I watched it nonstop.
It's one of those ones that kind of falls by the wayside nowadays because, you know, we're in the era of streaming and everything like that. So like if a film like Fist Fight came out back in the day, it would have got a lot more praise. Now it's like, you know, a lot of people, if you're like, oh, have you seen Fist Fight? A lot of people probably haven't seen it. Even, you know.
And Tracy Morgan.
Yeah.
He fucking takes it over the top. And he, in my opinion, like no matter what he's in, it's fucking funny, whatever he does. Like I even went back and watched Last Sunday with him and Ice Cube. And that shit fucking was killing me. Like I forgot how funny that was. Like it was almost on my list.
Oh yeah.
But this movie, yeah, like just because he's playing that real strict teacher that's not trying to fucking give the kids any kind of leeway.
That we need more of.
And it's the last day of school. And there's like the whole scene whenever the kid's fucking with him with the TV and the remote control on his phone. And he's like, you and your computerized cellular phone.
Yeah. I think he called it telephone too. It threw that shit up against the wall. I was like, this is what we need in this world.
Yeah, he's
right
just
now.
playing that old school cat that just wants to be everything back to normal. Like, I mean, the very first time you really see him, like he comes into the fucking break room trying to figure out how the coffee machine works. And he yells over at Charlie Day and he's like, how's this work? He's like, what do you want? What flavor? He's like, I just want regular coffee. And he's like, shit, I don't think that's on here. And he just looks at him. Just like you can just tell like his tone just by his facial expressions alone. So good.
Yeah.
And he's always been really good with like just like different expressions to show his emotion. Like you can tell when he's just looking at you like, shut the fuck up before I smack the shit out of you.
He doesn't need to say anything. He just does it like he curls his lip a little bit.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
His facial expressions are freaking.
You know
priceless.
what I mean?
Yeah, you could basically read his mind, you know.
Yeah,
when you see his expressions, and that's the great thing about Cube is his range, where he can go from like totally intimidating, fucking angry motherfucker to just hysterical, laugh your ass off, dude. You know, and like that, you know,
right.
And that's what's so great about him. It's kind of like his films, you know. It's like his early stuff is more serious, and his other shit later on is a lot more comedy and a lot more fun. So it's like, yeah, and he can just turn it on just like that.
Yeah, and it's such a talent. I mean, that not everybody can do that, man. That shit's a gift.
For sure.
It's got, like we talked about Michael Keaton earlier with you know, when he was in the 89 Batman, when him and Nicholson are in the Axis Chemical Factory and he's in the cow and he just smiles. Who the fuck else could do that?
Right.
And not make it look stupid. But
yeah, this whole movie, it's funny as fuck. Cause I couldn't even imagine too. Like I said, it takes place like the last day of school. So the fucking kids are just pulling all these crazy fucking ridiculous pranks and shit. And Charlie's having the role. He's having the worst fucking day ever. I think his name's Mr. Campbell. And then just some of the pranks that these fucking guys pull are ridiculous. And then Cube's always like, I don't fucking like pranks, so this is some bullshit. Then whenever he does get pranked by the kid with the fucking remote control thing, he just steals the kid's phone, throws it against the fucking chalkboard, and it explodes. I'm like, yeah, you get fired for that right there. And then the kid ends up borrowing someone else's phone, does it again. He goes out to the fucking hallway, grabs an axe, and chops the kid's fucking desk in half.
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, what the fuck?
We need more of that in this world.
And then once he gets snitched out, and he's like, we're going to fight.
And that's it. That's all he says.
And that's it.
We're going to fight.
That's like the first 20 minutes of the movie, and then the rest of it's just fucking Charlie trying to figure out a way not to fight him.
So yeah, if you haven't seen Fist Fight, we recommend you go see that for sure.
For sure.
I'm not sure. I don't think it got a theatrical release neither.
I think it did. I
Did it?
remember I watched
I
it
don't remember it coming out.
streaming on a device long ago.
Many moons ago.
Yes. Well, there you go. That's your number 2 as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, we like I said before, my number 2 was Boys in the Hood, and it's one of those ones we can go back a little bit and touch on. It's been in the National Film Registry since 25, 30 years ago, whatever. It's one of those ones that is such a pivotal film for so many reasons. Cube's debut, Singleton's directorial writing debut. Just such a good flick. I remember I remember reading something about where for the Cuba Gooding Jr. character, it was originally considered for Will Smith, and Will Smith had to back out because he was doing Fresh Prince in 1990. So
I'm so glad. I don't know. I think it's better with Cuba. Like, I don't know if I could pull Will Smith in that shit.
It would be interesting. When I heard about that, I was like, that would have been interesting to see Will Smith at that period of time, doing that kind of role. So, Will's pretty good. I think he would have pulled it off. I mean,
I don't know if people would have bought him at that time.
That's what I mean.
I think maybe Independence Day might have been better. But I mean, it'd be a very different movie.
like I said,
nowadays people would buy it, but
to this,
I don't know.
Why? Because he just walks up on stage and slaps people?
Yeah. He's just,
Like, oh, yeah, he's a bad motherfucker now.
slaps people half his size.
Yeah.
But to this day, like whenever Cuba walks into his girlfriend's house after the cops pull the gun on him and shit, and he just starts air swinging.
Yeah,
that fucking scene kills me every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, I laugh so hard because it just looks so goofy. And that's how you can tell, like, a sign of a really good movie too. Like, because that movie has been spoofed in one way or another numerous times.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Not saying that the spoof movies were funny, but like that's like those scenes and stuff always get taken out. Like, don't be a menace to South Central by drinking your juice in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that whole fucking movie is pretty much Boys in the Hood redone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and it's such.
Do we have a problem?
And
man,
it's such a even though, especially watching now, you could see it coming a mile away who's going to get shot. And that was Chris Tucker that pulled the trigger. A very young Chris Tucker, I believe, was the one that pulled the trigger. I think, right?
No.
I don't.
Is that correct? So. No. Okay. But it's such a heartbreaking scene. When he gets shot.
Poor Ricky.
Yeah, when Ricky gets shot.
Oh, Ricky, man.
But yeah, great movie.
I always just like Lawrence Fishburne's name in that movie, Ferocious.
Yeah, he's good and everything. He was
That
a perfect dad.
Great.
Perfect dad.
But part of me, every time I see him, no matter what he's in, I still see the fucking cowboy from Pee Wee and I laugh.
Did you really?
Yeah, every fucking time. Even like Morpheus and shit. Like, as soon as I first see him in any movie, I just think of that and I laugh.
I mean, I can't say nothing. I see him as the orderly from Nightmare.
He was in Ride Along as well.
Yeah, fucking such a good flick. What fucking monster. Stop cussing so fucking loud. My motherfucking mom is asleep. Oh man, just yeah, great flick.
And well, for my number one, speaking of Boys in the Hood, there were several callbacks to that movie, and my number one, which of course for me personally has to be Friday.
Chad, what's your number one?
Not Friday.
It was. I was surprised too.
Fuck.
I'd have bet money on that. That
Chad,
number one was going to be Friday.
Chad man swerving us tonight, man. I knew he knew we were going to come with the shit, and he's fucking swerved us. My number one is Friday as well.
The first two movies I thought of with Ice Cube, I didn't pick.
And I'm sorry, I forgot. Chuck's number two was also Boys in the Hood,
right?
And his number one was Friday as well.
I thought we were going to be unanimous, man. You fucked it up.
I did. You're welcome.
All right.
But yeah, like I remember
I do love this movie though, just for the record. Like,
you
think Ice Cube, you think Friday. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I think that's with a lot of people.
and that's why I had it as my number one, because it's like you think Ice Cube and you think Friday.
Immediately.
You know, this
Immediately.
this is the flick that he's the franchise that he's going to be
pushed him.
remembered for. Yeah,
Most
and-
likely.
And to this day, he's trying to get the conclusion part 4, but Warner Brothers is fucking him.
Yeah, I don't think he has the rights.
No, they own
No.
that shit.
no,
Okay.
Because he was hoping to get it done before John Witherspoon passed and Tiny Lister passed, but it didn't work out.
yeah, so many. Are
He
gone.
said he has like 8 scripts written for it.
See, god damn it, I hate fucking. Oh,
and they can't call it the Final Friday.
Right. Because I even think he was trying to get Chris Tucker back into it, and he said he probably would do it. Because I'm pretty sure he just needs money.
oh yeah.
At this point, he would. Fucking, he didn't want to come back for the third one.
Right.
But Friday, God, I remember the first time. I think it was me and Gary rented it. Gary, who we mention on the show, I think every other week. People are going to think he doesn't exist, but
He'll be on the show one day in the summer, and it'll be snowing.
as soon as that New Line Cinema logo comes on, you ain't got shit to do. We got to get you high because it's Friday.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't got no job.
And the fucking soundtrack to that movie is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Fucking Ice Cube, Chris Tucker, fucking great chemistry. You got fucking so many great characters. Fucking Debo, fucking Tiny Lister. You know, John Witherspoon, fucking legendary comedian. Regina King. You got fucking Night Long. Anna Horsford. You know, so many great actors and actresses, man. And Cube really knew what he was doing when he put this together.
Yeah, it's definitely a splice of a comedy / drama. Like, there's a lot of real shit in there, but they also throw in the shit that makes you laugh and makes you like realize, like, no matter where you're at, you can have a good time.
And the scene with his. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say the scene towards the end with the gun.
Yeah,
that big speech his dad gives him. You know, there's heart there too. There's heart. There's comedy. There's real life. Drive by. You know, there's so much good stuff in that.
Fucking,
like you guys said, like the chemistry with Chris Tucker and him was just fucking great. Like
And-
you would have thought they were hanging out for fucking years on that front porch.
Oh, for sure. And this was Chris Tucker, you know, going for it. You know, this was him, you know, like announcing himself
Trying to make a name.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you can see that in every scene he's trying to steal the scene. You know,
Yeah.
And just so funny. What I was gonna say before was, you know, Singleton had kind of inspired Cube or kind of direct and got him in a way to where he wanted him to start writing film. You know, he knew how much of a good storyteller he was from his music and everything like that, and he kind of talked to him and was like, you know, you should start, you know, writing screenplays and stuff like that. And it was his inspiration that, you know, made Cube sit down and write Friday. And you know, it was one of the ones. Yeah. And it was one of those ones I feel like Cube kind of analyzed Boys in the Hood and everything and saw what people liked about it and what people didn't like about it. And just the vibe, you know, a lot of people, you know, feel like it's kind of a downer, depressing type movie. And I think Cube kind of saw that and was like, all right, well, how can we tell a story that, you know, illustrates similar aspects, but also make it more funny and more upbeat and more entertaining. So you're not walking out of the theater like, oh, fuck, man, you know?
Yeah.
And-
Let's show our good times in the hood too. Because we laughed too, like everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely ends on a high note.
Yeah.
I mean, he beats the shit out of Debo, and
then that other famous line at the end, "You got knocked the fuck out."
Dude, fucking everybody says that shit. Well, growing up
for years.
You know,
It's come out in,
anytime.
what, 95 it came out?
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
And it was
And
like anytime. It's still to this day. Anytime there's like a boxing match or something like that.
Even a UFC fight, it don't matter.
UFC, it don't matter. If somebody gets knocked out, there's going to be somebody in the world that said you just got knocked the fuck out. Guaranteed.
And bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Yep.
And for our younger audience, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
For some reason,
it showed up 30 years later.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, 20 years later, for some reason, I was like, "Do you even know where that's from?" No, everybody says it. No, that's from Friday.
Dude, oh man, this younger generation, man, come on.
Yeah, they don't know nothing.
There's always shit that pops up on my timelines and shit that I see where these young kids hear something from. We sound so fucking old, but they hear stuff from our day, and they act like it's something brand new. Like, come on, motherfucker! Like, and there's sometimes really dumb shit. Like whenever
we invented that shit.
Whenever Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things came out, and the one guy was doing the Metallica solo.
Master of the Puppets.
Yeah, when he was doing Master of Puppets, and fucking all these kids are like, oh, fucking Stranger Things featured that band Metallica, like,
and I'm just like, oh my god, like I get kind of pissed.
Yeah, like people they don't realize, like you don't realize who the fuck Metallica is.
God, that breaks my heart.
Like, oh, there's people on there that are like, I feel like it's rib, but it's real. Where they're like, oh, I hope this Metallica band ends up taking off. They actually sound pretty good. And them being on Stranger Things.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
They might actually,
I bet they could make it in the music industry.
Yeah, they did a few things.
Somebody should sign these guys.
Yeah. Jesus,
get the fuck off the internet, kids. Go buy a VCR. Like a normal person.
It's like the only original thing I've seen you guys come up with is eating Tide Pods.
That just sounds terrible, though. They smell good and all, but I'm sure they taste like shit.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to find out.
Stupid fucking challenges. But yeah, back to Friday. A lot of classic lines. A lot of classic performances. Fucking, like we said, the film franchise that Cube is always going to be remembered for. I think this is going to be his number one. Boys in the Hood, that's more of a Singleton, Cuba Gooding Jr. type deal. Obviously Cube played a part, but this is where Cube stepped out and became the star of the show.
He showed his wide range of being a great musician and hip hop artist to now what I think could probably be a legendary type actor.
And his son is doing pretty well too.
Yeah.
So far. I
mean, he's done well for himself.
I mean, God, and he looks and acts just like him. It's crazy. I mean, I know he's his son, but still, like, you can really see it.
O'Shea Jr.
Yeah, like this kid's going to be something too. Just watch.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to hinder him though. They're so identical looking. They could pass for twins almost. And but his performance in Straight Outta Compton as his dad, so good. That was an amazing flick as well.
That really was.
And he's been in a whole bunch of other stuff. He was in Star Wars.
I was going to say that.
He was in the Godzilla the sequel.
Well, see, that's what's funny. See, I just watched Ice Cube on Mike Tyson's Hot Boxing, and he was saying he's like whenever he was talking about his son starting to do movies and stuff, and he was like, well, I kind of like put him in there to play me or whatever for our movie, but then he's like, now I see him doing other things. And he's even doing things that he loved as a kid, which was Godzilla and Star Wars. And he's like, so he's lived two of his dreams. He's like, and to me, that's like the best thing a father could ask for. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, you're watching your son do what he wanted to do and be in shit that he actually liked coming up with as a kid.
And it's shit that fucking Cube likes too. I remember reading somewhere that Star Wars was one of his favorite films.
So was Jaws.
I think he said that Jaws was his favorite film. Which is that's pretty wild. I wouldn't have imagined that Jaws would be Ice Cube's favorite flick.
Yeah, but, that kind of flipped me out a little bit. I was like, "Oh shit,
it was like
great taste, great taste."
Jaws, The Godfather, Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
Trading Places, and then Star Wars.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know if it's in that order, but those were like the top 5 that I had heard somewhere. So pretty surprising,
Right.
I figured it might be something different, especially with his interest in comedy and everything like that. I thought, he would have been more of a comic guy, like Richard Pryor, Gene Wilder shit, or something like that. But surprise, Jaws, fucking Star Wars.
Maybe you'll work with Spielberg someday.
There you go. But
That's
yeah,
what
back.
When you're around all that kind of talent, you're only going to get better.
Right.
Sure. Back to Friday. I mean, obviously, we could talk about the sequels and everything like that. What would you say is your favorite one? The first one?
First one.
Yeah.
They pretty much go in order, but I mean, the second one it's fucking close to being tied with the first one.
It's tough. I mean,
I think the chemistry between Ice Cube and Mike Epps is just as fucking good as Chris Tucker.
I think it's better. I mean,
I think so too. But I think it's because they know each other a lot longer than Chris Tucker and him knew each other too.
Well, that and like a lot of people give a lot of hate to the fucking sequel and to the third one, especially the third one, which I'm surprised because I fucking love Friday After Next.
Me too.
Oh my gosh! But and the thing is, I think why so many people hate it is because it's so much different than the first film, where there's not as much. There's not really. I don't know if there's even any seriousness to the third one.
I don't think so.
Very campy.
I mean, there's not a whole lot in the second one either, aside from them maybe losing their house.
Right. And I think that was the departure that kind of. The original fans of the franchise were like, this is. But the fucking third one, oh my god, I could sit around all day and quote that shit, dude. Oh my god, that film is so hilarious. If you aren't a fan of Friday After Next, I would say go back and revisit that and watch it again with a clear mind. Don't try to compare it to the shit from the past. Just you can watch it as a standalone flick because you don't need to know there's no fucking story, except little shit like with you'll get those little bonus Easter eggs with the characters coming in. You got Pinky, you got obviously the family members and all that, but you can sit there and watch it and laugh your fucking ass off. And so much. I could. Like I said, I could quote it all. Fucking Top Flight Security, motherfucking, all that shit. When fucking Mike Epps is fucking flipping out on them old women, they're Christmas caroling.
You can't be selling that pussy on this corner.
Y'all bitches need to get the fuck out of here. Oh my gosh, so fucking funny, man. And I think that's what I'm.
And that was never Cat Williams. That is pinnacle too.
Money Mike. Oh my god. Fucking Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I love when Terry Crews does comedy. Oh man, he's so great too.
And another great cast, for that third one, and so many different characters. The I can't remember who the actor plays it. The Moley character that they work for. The
hey, buddy.
Holy moly, donut shop.
Hey, buddy.
Freaks come out at night. What? Houdini, right? Oh my god! Just all the characters in that flick
Keep going.
Hilarious. They're so fucking funny. So and people were just like, they're not into it. But that's my kind of shit. I like the campy, goofy shit. I love the first one. Don't get me wrong. But I have so much fun when I watch that, and it's a Christmas film too. So you can throw that into the mix. It's got that Christmas vibe to it. So I can always pop that in around Christmas time and have a good laugh. So I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Friday After Next and fucking put it over.
Like I said, for me, they're pretty damn close. I like the first two better, but the third one I can watch anytime as well. I went back and watched all three of them this past week and fucking just laughed my ass off for literally 5.5 hours.
And when we were just saying about the chemistry between Mike Epps and Cube, you know, you can really see it, especially in that third one. It's like they're so comfortable with each other. They could just, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if the majority of that film was just ad lib from Mike Epps.
Well, it's even like the Laugh Now, Cry Later album. You have how like Mike Epps does a fucking video, like an audio snippet on there, and he's like, "Cube, we running out. I need another Friday." Like,
Yeah.
And then like the whole fucking thing between them two, like you can tell they just chill out some days and just fucking kick it.
Yeah.
Like,
and from like I said, I feel like their chemistry was better than Cube's chemistry with Chris Tucker, because like I said, when the first film, Chris Tucker does a great job, but it feels like he's trying too hard sometimes. Like he's trying to steal the show, like I said.
right.
And you know, they got good chemistry, but him and Mike Epps, they feel like a comedy duo. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which actually takes me to my number one.
Oh, I know what it is now.
All About the Benjamins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another great flick, man.
This fucking movie, yo. So goofy. It totally changes, just changes up from the beginning towards the end. Like Ice Cube's a fucking bounty hunter trying to catch Mike Epps. And then eventually it's just him trying to find these fucking diamonds. And then by the end, he's like, fuck everything. I'm snatching these diamonds. Like, it just switches up so crazy. But that's how I feel like you would pan out in real life. Like, you fucking find $20 million in diamonds and you're just a bounty hunter. You're not really law enforcement, really. I mean, you got to take the pledge and shit or whatever. But yeah, it's like, fuck you. Like, I ain't making no money doing this shit. I'm out. Like, that movie's so fucking funny. And especially like Mike, even like I said, like Mike Epps in that movie just fucking cracks me the fuck up whenever he's in the fucking grocery store with the old ladies.
Oh my gosh. Or just like in the beginning where that guy Dwight around your lips. You'll never find boom 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 a hairline like mine. Fucking Mike Epps, dude. I would love to fucking just chill with that dude all day because he is so
Like,
fucking
how many times
funny.
I gonna tell you tonight I open the chips in the store? You're gonna have to tell me every time I come in here.
So good. And now, and this was a period where, you know, now Cube's getting into the action stuff. You know, a lot of the other films that we didn't discuss, like the Triple X,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, where it seemed like I don't know if he wanted to or Hollywood wanted to kind of try to transition him into an action star more so than a comedy star. And
Like even Ghost to Mars.
Yep, Ghost to Mars was another one.
Yeah, he did mix it up a lot. Does mix it up a lot.
I almost put a different Ice Cube, Mike Epps one on there, which is, it's not a great movie. I don't know if it really was seen a whole lot or whatever, but is Janky Promoters.
Mm-hmm.
Like them two again in the fucking same movie, killing it, and then fucking Young Jeezy's in it, and then it's just fucking another classic like comedy duo movie.
Yep.
But for me, All About the Benjamins is where it was at. Like, I used to watch this fucking movie all the time when it came out.
Yeah, you showed it to me one day.
This shit cracked me the fuck up.
Yeah, that was the first time I watched it, I think.
And
I was
Eva
over
Mendez's sexy ass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Fucking Tommy Flanagan.
here.
Yeah, fucking
Anaconda.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
Another
but definitely one of my favorites that wasn't on my top three was always Three Kings. I always liked that movie. It was just a good movie, and all his roles, everything. I don't know if it just comes natural for him, but every single role he's in, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely believe that character, no matter what it is. Too, it could be Boys, it could be Ghost of Mars, Three Kings, Friday, whatever it is. Like, I believe he's this character.
Yeah, it's like I was saying before, where he's putting a little bit of himself into each one of these characters. It's like you get half of Ice Cube and then half of whatever character he's playing combined into one thing, and it's like that's what the appeal is. You know, you're always going to like him, you know, for the most part. I don't even think is there a movie where you hate one of Ice Cube's characters?
Not that I can think of.
He's one of those guys that is very likable. You know,
Yeah, like even the whenever his little parts or whatever in like the Players Club and stuff like that, like even those parts are good.
Yeah.
Like anything he just has like a little cameo shot or whatever, like his little interview in CB4 whenever he's talking about the band and he's like, oh, fucking Gusto. Like,
And even Fist Fight, but there's a reason for it. There's a reason he wants to break this guy in half. And you understand the reason. You could relate to that. You know,
Right.
it's not just him being a prick to be and it's the same with I keep mentioning 21 Jump Street, but it's the same thing there.
Or 22 Jump Street.
Or 22.
he's a big fan of Channing Tatum.
Or,
He's actually good when he does comedy. I will say
or-
that.
or the ride along movies. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they all have a similar vibe. You know, it's almost like the same formula that they do for Taken, where it's like, okay, this worked with Liam Neeson, so we're gonna put Liam Neeson in another fucking movie where some family member gets kidnapped and he has to go fucking save him. It's like, oh, we'll just do that with Ice Cube. We'll put him in a comedy movie with somebody. Insert Kevin Hart. Insert fucking whoever. And let him run with it because you, like I said, he's fucking likable. Cube is one of those guys that you like. Oh, I would love to fucking just hang out and chill with that guy. Fucking smoke some weed, fucking have a beer, just fucking bullshit with him. Cool motherfucker.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, that's the other thing too. He's also one of those guys that you feel like I could actually hang out with this guy and have a decent conversation.
he feels
And he-
real.
Yeah.
He's very authentic. Where it's like I don't think anybody would ever say that Cube is a fake motherfucker. Nothing about him from like day one. He's always been straight up. Nobody's ever been like, nah, that dude don't seem like like that. So like I said, very, very real, authentic type guy and down to earth.
And he's just a real go-getter in general too, because he's not afraid to like get outside the box. Like I know they started trying to do like a basketball league there for a while.
Yeah,
It like the big what was it called? Big 3?
Mhm.
Big 13, something like that.
Big 3.
Yeah, but I don't think it really took off. And then I was like I said, I was watching him on Hotboxing because I remember hearing a couple songs, but not really knowing who was really in the group of Mount Westmore. And then watching that podcast with Mike Tyson, he was saying how like during the whole COVID shit, everything was shut down, and 40 was just like hitting him up. I was like, I'm bored as fuck. We got to do something. And he's like, all right. And he's like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I don't fucking know. Like, we can just do an album or whatever. And he's like, let's just start a fucking rap super group.
All right.
He's like, we'll pick up Snoop and fucking Short and just do our thing and just show all these young heads that these old heads still got it.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised that whenever it was last year's Super Bowl performance, I think during halftime, whenever it was
That Cube wasn't there.
Dre and Snoop and Eminem and 50 and all them. There was actually a part where if you go back and look, like the setting that they were, the building they were standing on, it had like a barbershop like set up or whatever as part of it. And I thought that Cube was going to come out that door and like fucking start performing, but they didn't. I was like, how can you do a fucking Super Bowl halftime without Ice Cube in LA,
Right. I mean, they should have left 50 off the bill and threw Cube in there.
For
Me,
sure.
that would have been the better setup because I don't like 50 Cent anyway.
Right. But still.
And then his whole shit was dumb anyway, hanging upside down, and he forgot most of the fucking words.
That don't happen. Fucking hanging upside down and all the blood rush to your head. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Am I singing?
Where am I?
Oh, I'm at the goddamn Super Bowl.
I mean, my dislike for 50 runs deep.
I don't know. I seen you up in New York hanging out with him the one day.
Oh no, you didn't.
I think there's pictures on the internet too.
Nah, it wasn't on TMZ or nothing, I swear.
But
No.
yeah, All About the Benjamins. That's a pretty good flick. Surprised that's the number one, but that's cool.
That's what I'm saying. Like the first two that came to mind, I just scrapped from the list right away. Because I was like, I mean, because I feel like everybody would pick those, and
right.
But yeah, I think he's got a tour actually coming up soon. He just got finished doing a tour last year, but he's got another one coming up.
I would like to see them.
He was touring with Cypress Hill last year.
I would like to see them do like another Up in Smoke type tour.
I would too.
get Dre and all them guys back out on the road. That'd be good because I know like the Super Bowl performance last year. They fucking killed it. I don't know about 50, but Dre and Snoop fucking. It's like riding a bicycle again.
Yeah, I can't imagine either one of those two giving an okay performance.
Yeah, that'd be great because I haven't seen Cube live either.
It would always be amazing.
Oh yeah, he's great.
Well,
great performer.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of his shit on YouTube. He's got a lot of shows posted on there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's good. This was a lot of fun. This was cool.
Welcome back,
cool.
Dave.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Well, any final thoughts on Ice Cube before we wrap this bad boy up?
I keep looking at Chad, and I want to call you. You should have put on the thing Big Perm, because with that wig. I mean, with that.
I don't want to have to fuck you up, Smokey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Big Worm. But no, go ahead.
Big snake fella. Big snake,
yeah.
Big worm. I don't give a fuck.
But yeah, final thoughts. Ice Cube, fucking amazing musical talent, fucking great actor. Definitely a fucking iconic actor. I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say.
He really is. Like he's gonna do nothing but bigger things. Like he's just gonna keep pushing out fucking banging music, dope movies, and entertain us for years and years to come. I have a feeling.
Him and his son, I can't wait to see what else his son's gonna do because
I got a feeling they're gonna end up doing something together at some point.
I feel like it too. I don't know what it's gonna be, but
do Barbershop 4. His baby all grown up.
Maybe I would go in a different direction, because it's like
do something new.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's gonna end up being like some kind of buddy. They take the buddy formula and put it into a father-son formula.
See, I think they go the opposite way and make them rivals in a movie.
That'd be good.
Like a Neighbors type thing.
If they do it right.
I think that'd be fun. I think they'd have a lot of fun doing that shit too.
Or do something crazy. Do like, kind of like fucking like a Dusk Till Dawn, where you have Tarantino and Clooney as brothers, but you have fucking Ice Cube and his son as like kind of like bounty hunters or criminals on the run, and make it like some kind of horror mix up, mashup. You could do fucking something good, and I think those guys would fucking knock it out of the park.
Right.
I'd like to see something like that, but I don't think we're gonna get that.
No, probably not. We never get what we actually want, but we get stuff that holds us over.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This was our Ice Cube night, and I really enjoyed it. It's good to be back. I miss you guys. You're my family. Chuck Nasty, if you're listening, you're my family too.
I think he's sleeping. He's getting some
rest.
rest.
So he seems like he didn't get any sleep at all today.
Yeah, he'll watch this tomorrow.
Sounds like he had a stressful day.
Yeah. Yeah,
we all do.
It happens. Yeah. It happens.
It does. It does.
But before we end the show, we will end it as we always do with our random clip of the week, in which we will pick a random clip from a random movie and see what happens. Let's see what we got this week.
Right, row.
I don't even want you anymore. All I want is the drugs and the money. Oh my God.
Come back here. Straighten up. We're both fucked up.
That first fucking smack had no sound. Forgot to dub in the fucking sound effect.
Oh, and missed her by a fucking mile. But
that was our good friend Neil Breen. Maybe we'll do a Neil Breen one.
I've seen better slaps at the Academy Awards.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Of course, you can always check out this video and our past videos on our YouTube channel, the Video Store Clerks Podcast. You can find us at Video Store Clerks. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that happy stuff. Mike, do you have anything going on, sir?
Nope. Just grinding out over here. And, you know, obviously you can check out the fucking YouTube channel, my YouTube channel, Leasure Trading Company. Post up different videos and shit from my travels. I got some stuff coming up here. You know, now the weather's getting warm. Going to be traveling some more. We got some good stuff coming up. I'm not going to fucking spoil it for our watchers or viewers, but we're going to have some good shit coming up. So just keep watching.
I know I want to talk about it so bad, but I'll just. Okay. And our friend Chuck Nasty, of course, you can check him out on his podcast, Nasty Nation and Graveyard Talk, where he's joined by Whitman. They talk all things horror, and his band, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, that you can find anywhere. I'll include it on Spotify and Facebook. Make sure you give him a follow as well. Well, again, we are your Video Store Clerks. This is the Video Store Clerks Podcast. I'm Dave.
Chadman.
Mike.
And we will see you guys next week.